You are here because you want to be inspired by other fellow type 1 diabetics. Welcome to the Diabetes Hustle Podcast. Hey guys, I am your host, Ali ABDUL-Kareem. On today's episode, I interview Sage Donnelly. Sage Donnelly is a 2020 hopeful Olympic and a professional whitewater kayaker. She is one of the 3 people I got to interview during the diabetes music video shoot we did last month with Chris, Glucose Survival. And I really hope you guys enjoy this episode. We get into fitness with Sage. Obviously, she's a super athletic freak. She wears an insulin pump. She's had diabetes since she was 3 years old. And we're going to talk about, mindset, how she goes about treating her diabetes, food, and all other aspects. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get into it. Let's go. All right. I have a very special person on. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the Diabetes Hustle Podcast in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm good. Yeah, just happy to be out here helping out. And yeah, it's super fun.
What are we doing today?
Today, I think we are going to be part of the audience for the rock band that is doing a cover to release for National Diabetes Awareness Month.
Yes, and we're both wearing a black shirt with a big blue circle, and our necklaces say diabetic.
Yeah, we have officially been labeled as diabetic. I'm Diabetic Sage.
Diabetic Sage. And there's your intro. So for the people at home, for the few who don't know who you are, tell them who you are. Quick bio. How long you got diabetes? Your name? What do you do?
My name is Sage Donnelly. I'm a professional whitewater kayaker on 5 USA teams. I'm a 2020 Olympic hopeful, and I've had diabetes for 15 years since the age of 3.
We are next to a superstar. This is real. Thank you for coming on the show. It's really like an inspiration to have you, doing what you're doing, and diabetes on top of it. Like, I feel like most people are Olympic medalists just having the disease, and on top of it, you're doing.
I also have celiac and thyroid disease, just to top it off.
Just to make the whole picture even better.
Oh yeah.
All that going on. So tell us your starting of diagnosis, then we'll get into kayaking and everything else.
Yeah, so like I said, I was diagnosed when I was 3, so I don't really remember it very well. But I mean, my parents put me on a pump pretty soon. I was on a pump when I was 4. I have been ever since. And yeah, I've just been managing it, and it's a lot of changing since I work out so much. I work out about 8 hours a day.
What? I just found that out right now. Are you serious?
About. in
some
winter
stretching
training.
Include, or?
Sometimes. I'm pretty bad about stretching.
Oh, really? I'm actually shocked. I think you're talking about shoulder injuries a lot. Do you do a lot of those lacrosse balls with your shoulder?
I do a little bit, but I actually have this lovely little thing called a Theracane, and it's like a cane shape, and it has like little knobs on it, and you can just get in your shoulder really well wherever you want. Yeah,
okay.
It's good.
Okay, I got you. So like, you don't remember life prior to diabetes? You just
No,
know.
it's been diabetes forever.
Yeah, so then diabetes, 3 years old, pump. What pump were you using for the majority of your diabetes?
I have used an Animus. I don't remember what I started on, but it was an Animus. And I was using the One Touch Ping up until beginning of this year when they obviously were discontinued. So I just switched to the Medtronic 670G.
Okay, how do you like the Medtronic?
It's been good. The auto mode is pretty cool. I haven't messed with it a lot because I've been racing so much, and I like to have my control and when I'm racing. So I'm just kind of getting back into it now, but it's a really cool idea, and the pump's super nice. It's waterproof, so I never have to take it off when I'm training or competing, which is awesome. So yeah, it's been a good switch.
Yeah. So let's get into kayaking. What age did you start? You said 7 years old, right?
Yes, I started competing when I was 7 years old.
You were competing at 7? Oh my goodness.
So I started running rivers in my own boat when I was 5, but I've been raced around the river, multi-day raft trips, did the Grand Canyon when I was 7. Like, I've always been around the river and paddling, and then shortly before I actually went on the Grand Canyon that year, I said, hey Mom and Dad, I want to start competing, because I'd seen all the pros out there, of course, competing in the Reno River Festival, which is my local festival. I would always see like the heroes out there. I want to start doing what they do. So I actually started freestyle kayaking at age 7. That was the first competition I did. And that's kind of like, if you picture a stationary ocean wave on a river, where we're doing front flips and back flips and cartwheels and stuff like that, that is freestyle. It's like gymnastics in the water.
Okay.
7. Shortly after that, I started doing, it's called slalom kayaking, which is my main focus right now. It's what I'm trying to go to the Olympics for. And that is, you're in a really long, pointy boat, and it's kind of like skiing slalom, so we have gates to navigate. We have up gates and down gates through big, hard whitewater. So I do that. And then I started that when I was about 8, but I didn't start seriously training in it until about 4 years ago when I made my first junior team. And then there's also, I started creek racing when I was 9, which is the most extreme form of racing. It's over some of the hardest pieces of whitewater you can find on rivers, and it's point A to point B as fast as you can, and that's super epic. But it's kind of hard because that makes my blood sugar spike because of all the adrenaline.
Yeah, that must be like a whole discussion I want to get into about like what is, man, my brain's overwhelmed. Like, what is management like when you have all this going on? Like, you love weight training, you love circuit training, as we spoke. You like, obviously, kayaking is big for you. Like, how does management come in? How have you made peace with that?
Honestly, it's still a battle. I'm not gonna lie. It's still trial and error. I've found some methods that work kind of well. Like, I've found if I'm doing like running or kind of a more intense workout where I know I'm gonna drop really fast, I can suspend my basal to 50% about an hour before and keep it on through my workout, and that actually helps stabilize my blood sugars really well versus taking the pump off, because when I take my pump off, it just drops and then it shoots straight up and it's all this crazy stuff. And then also I've started spiking a lot after my workout. So my doctor is starting to have me try to give like half a unit towards like the last 10 minutes of my workout to try to help stabilize that. So that's another thing I'm trying, and it's just constant monitoring, constant eating.
Eating. No, we both love eating. I know that.
Keeping juice around the side of the riverbank, gummies in the gym, just like eating some gummies in between push-ups,
Is it true when you're pushing up?
Oh yeah, I've gotten some weird looks.
Like eating some kind of candy. Why is this girl eating candy in the gym? What is she doing? Like, you don't know. Yeah, so you're really into, like, you love being active.
I do.
You really do. Like, we were talking about rest days, and you were like,
I mean,
like that.
Even on my rest days, I'll go for like a 3-hour hike or something.
Yeah.
Like, I just love being outdoors. I love being active. Anything. I do stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking, running, gym. I mean, just anything I can. Rock climbing.
A deep question right now. Where do you think you'd be without diabetes? And I don't mean this in a sense like, answer this like, inspirational, like, honest question. But where do you think you'd be without type 1?
I honestly feel like I'd be in the same spot.
Yeah.
Because, my parents raised me since I was diagnosed to never let it stop me, and it will make things harder, and at times it'll be more difficult than just being a normal athlete, but to never let it stop you and always find ways to deal with it and don't let it get you down. So yeah, I think I'd be in the exact same spot.
That's amazing, because from my story, it's more like diabetes led me to this direction. With you, it was like, we're going on this direction whether you like it or not. You're like dragging it, but you're not dragging, you're making peace with it. Okay. And the thing that I love about being around amazing people like you is I am inspired. Like, after this trip, I'm like, I'm trying to stay on top of my game. You're talking about working out. I'm like, nah, she's not gonna beat me. Of course she's gonna beat me. Like, I'm all like thinking about, okay, I gotta get back on burpees. So it's amazing to be around other characters like you.
Oh yeah, it's been super cool to come out here and just meet everyone. Like, I never talked to other diabetics, so it's really cool.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I travel so much, and the kayaking community is pretty small, especially in slalom. And I think I've met like one other Czech girl who is a diabetic, but she's not on the team, so I don't really see her that often. So yeah, it's not super common. Like, I get questions all the time of, what is that? And you have to figure out how to tell someone who's limited English what diabetes is.
Exactly.
Because also, I don't think insulin pumps are super common out in Europe yet either. At least that's what I've heard. So they see a little box with tubing connected to me, and are like, what?
It's like, I heard their healthcare system is really great, but I don't know how pump technology works over there.
Yeah.
For the most part, they can get insulins and cheaper and all that good stuff. Being that you're an athlete and being so active, what has that done for you? Does it mean you've become more aware of your body, or you Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I think in a way, diabetes has actually made me more aware of my body in sense of like sports. So I think that's actually helped in that sense. Because, you know, if I get an injury or like I'm in tune with my body. Like, I know if I feel like a hurt muscle or something, I can tell the difference between whether it's actually going to lead into an injury or if it's just like tight and I need to work it out. So yeah, I think it's actually helped in that sense. And then sports, as far as with diabetes, I mean, you know, it's frustrating, it's hard, but I just, you know, I've learned, I think it's helped my mental side a lot as well, of resilience. And yeah, I just try not to let it get me down.
I love that attitude. Give me 1 second because my pod is beeping on me. Hold this. It's telling me you need a unsuspend. Excuse me. All right, why my comfortability? Okay. Last couple of questions. I guess my leading question is, what do you take pride in with your diabetes management? It could be small or big. Something you feel like you're good at.
This is gonna sound weird, but it's kind of more of on the mental side. You know. As far as like, you know, I'll have workouts where I start at 180 and I can just drop to 40 like that. And, you know, in those times it's very, very frustrating and I feel horrible. And, you know, you just want to lay there and kind of just curl up in a ball. But I think one thing I'm proud of is how I deal with that and just pushing through it as best I can and just getting back on it as soon as my blood sugar's up and just firing it up.
That's really, like, no joke. That's actually a true superpower. Like, rolling with the punches is so important with our management because it's like we're constantly, and that's something I really struggle with. My listeners know this. Perfectionist. You know, something doesn't go my way, I don't want to give up, I don't care, I just want to splurge, I'm not working out. That's something that we can get into right now. So, like, for the kids watching, adults watching, people listening, what advice do you have for them to roll with the punches? You know, like, what has it taken you a while to get that attitude, or was it just like, hey, we're all kind of shitty, you know, to disease, just roll with it?
Yeah, you know, honestly, my parents had a huge part in this. They raised me to just go with it and, you know, roll with the punches. You know, it's gonna suck at times, but just pick yourself back up, go harder. And that's something that I've kept with me my whole life so far. And so yeah, my advice to other diabetics is always, it will be bad at times, but it's making you a better, stronger person no matter what. So never let diabetes or any excuse stop you from reaching your goals and dreams.
Really appreciate it. Last couple of questions. We're gonna plug you, make sure they find you. Hold on, one second. My brain is blanking right now. Okay, current projects you're working on, the current thing in your life right now that you are really focused on.
Yeah, so big thing right now is I start my qualification races for the 2020 Olympics next September. So that is at World Championships. I have to place in a certain number of people to qualify a spot just for the US, and then after that I'll go to my 2 team trial races and place in those, and hopefully they only take 1 boat. So you have to be top boat from that, and if I'm top boat from that, then I'm going. So that's everything. Like, I'm leaving for Spain in like, I think about 2 weeks or less. And I'll be gone through January. I won't be home. I'll be in Europe training my butt off. So that's the goal right now, is to qualify for that and yeah, go to the Olympics. So that's the main project right now. Thank you.
Like, I don't want to get too on this, but like, you really thrive off traveling, being out of your comfort zone, essentially.
I definitely
So what's life for you like that? Like traveling, being on plane, you know, having a pump, and then working out in a hotel gym versus partying or whatever. Is that like your work ethic usually there? Like your mind is constantly like, okay, where's the
Yeah, I pretty much, exactly. I love to work out. It makes me feel incredible. It's one of my favorite things. So pretty much everywhere I go, it's like, okay, where's the gym? I'll go for a run. Where's training? Let's go. And yeah, I mean, of course, I do let loose and party on occasion, but normally it's like after a big race. It's not like all the time, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like after my 2 world championships, I was like, yep, I'm going to the after party.
And traveling with diabetes.
Yeah, it's hard. Some days I have to increase my nasals by like 50 to 70%, like, because I drive a lot as well, like driving from North Carolina to Nevada or Nevada to North Carolina to get to my team trials. It's like 5 days of just sitting. So it's really, really bad. bad. Yeah,
must
so I'll go through so much insulin doing that, which kind of sucks, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do. And you know, same with planes. Like anytime I'm sitting, like my blood sugars just skyrocket because my body's so used to just moving all the time. So yeah, that's kind of how I deal with it. Just pump everything up.
Pump it up. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Heck yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. Where can the audience find you at home? Where do they want to find you?
Okay, so my home's Carson City, Nevada, but I'm never there. I travel the world, so you can keep up on my adventures on my athlete page on Facebook, which is just Sage Donnelly, or my Instagram, which is Sage Kayak. That's probably better. And yeah, I just travel around, and if you see I'm coming to an area that's near you, hit me up, and I'd love to meet.
That's so awesome. Olympian next to me, a type 1. Let's go. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate you having me on the spot. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
We'll end recording right now. Okay, I'm going to airdrop this to you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Sage. Appreciate it.
That was the episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Appreciate you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, guys, on YouTube, hit the like button. Comment down below for a future video request on the podcast. I hope to upload weekly. Sage, if you're listening, thank you so much. Really appreciate the interview. It was great. I hope this inspired you guys to learn a couple things about athletics with diabetes, mindset, and all the stuff in the Diabetes Hustle podcast. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.